Today Denis was returning home as if on wings. Of course, such news. He was confirmed as the company's chief software specialist. And that was at his age. People spend 20 years of their lives for such a position, but he managed to achieve this seemingly unattainable goal in just 2 years. Apparently, the company's management was able to see in Denis not only a talented programmer, but also a good organizer who will be able to ensure the stable operation of the entire company in this industry. Of course, now more care and responsibility will fall on his shoulders, but the salary will be many times higher. That's what Lelechka will be happy about, the guy thought, getting behind the wheel of his car, and smiled that he remembered how he met his young wife. It was completely accidental. Denis came to get a haircut at a beauty salon, and there he was served by a young attractive girl with a light hand. While Lilia was working on his hairstyle, Denis found out that she herself was from the village and came here to work. Denis liked the girl right away. Modest, undemanding. She didn't look at all like a city dweller who couldn't put a finger in her mouth. The young people began to communicate, they began a stormy romance. Lilia began to visit Denis's house more and more often and even met his mother. Maria Petrovna liked the girl too. Hard-working, responsive, never says a word across, just like Maria Petrovna herself in her past youth, but soon after the wedding, the old woman began to notice that her daughter-in-law began to change a lot. Now, when she came home from work, she immediately fell on the sofa, saying that she was very tired, and spent the whole evening with the phone in her hands, chattering madly with someone, like a magpie on a fence. And I didn't babble with Maria Petrovna Lee anymore, every now and then, showing her teeth at any remark that, "What's going on with our girl? I just don't recognize her." Maria Petrovna was perplexed. Once she even tried to talk about it with Denis, but he just waved her off, saying, "What are you, Mom, making up? What was Lilia like?" And she remained like that. Apparently, the guy wanted to believe it himself. Or maybe love was just blurring his eyes, preventing him from taking an objective picture of what was happening. But deep down, Denis himself has repeatedly noted that instead of spending time together, Leia chooses shopping trips and boutiques. She really changed quickly, and not only externally, turning into a typical glamorous beauty, but also internally. Or maybe she had always been like this, and all this assumed modesty was just a mask. I don't think we'll ever know. Anyway, Denis is clearly having a good day today. He will be delighted with his beloved, learning that now they have completely different opportunities. Now any point in the world can be at their feet. And we'll probably buy a new apartment, but we'll leave this one to Mom, Denis mused, parking the car in the yard and taking out a huge bouquet of roses from the back seat. The guy decided to surprise his beloved wife, unexpectedly descend and please with good news, reinforcing them with flowers. But when he reached the door of his apartment, the smile suddenly disappeared from his face that he heard the desolate screams of his beloved. He had never heard her scream like that before. Even her voice was hard to recognize right now. Denis opened the doors with his key and quietly entered the apartment to understand what was going on. Picture that which opened his eyes, plunged him into shock. His beloved Lelechka, like an evil witch from fairy tales, loomed over his mother and screamed something in her face, waving her arms. "That I told you, you old bitch, that I can't cook today. You stay at home all day. Is it really hard to cook something worthwhile for you? I can't eat your damn food every day anymore. I wish I'd thought of my son. And you would clean up a little at home, but you just whine and whine all day long. You're not doing any good. You're messing around under my feet, and that's it." Maria Petrovna bent over, clutching her heart, and muttered something softly, as if trying to justify herself in the eyes of her daughter-in-law. At that moment, the captivity fell from Denis's eyes. Anger and rage took hold of him. How could he have been so wrong? How did he not see the wolf under the sheep's skin? And his hands involuntarily clenched into fists, and the thorns of roses bit into his palms until they bled. Throwing away the bouquet, he jumped up to his young wife and immediately grabbed her by the collar. Lily's eyes widened in surprise and fear. Yes, she had not expected to see her husband at such an hour. Darling, you misunderstood everything. I just. But the guy did not even listen to the ridiculous excuse of his once beloved wife. The next moment, Leah was already on the landing, and the door of the apartment, which a few minutes ago she considered her own, slammed in her face. The girl was stunned by what had happened. She blamed herself. What kind of fool am I? Why didn't I hold back? Yes, it's all the damn grandmother's fault. It just pisses me off, I can't. Thoughts were frantically swarming in Ilya's head. What should I do? What should I do? How can I justify myself to my husband? Yes, what words can I find to forgive and take me back? Well, it's okay, he's madly in love with me. Now he will only cool down and immediately realize that he is nobody without me, the girl thought smugly. Yeah, now the door is opening. He'll probably start apologizing now. But instead, there were a couple of suitcases with her belongings on the landing. And I will file for divorce myself. Denis cut off with a stony face, and don't let me see you here anymore. He pushed Leah away from him, who tried to hug him and tame him again with her feminine charms, but this time they did not work. Time passed. Denis thought that now he would never be able to believe a woman after he was burned at his first marriage, and, to be honest, his heart was still not there, and it was beginning to yearn for past love again. And sometimes the guy's head was visited by thoughts, or maybe I shouldn't have done so right away. Maybe I should have given it another chance, huh? Although he knew perfectly well that it was unlikely that anything worthwhile would come of it. More than a year had passed when suddenly Lisa appeared in Denis's path. Lisa was his classmate and had been in love with him since high school. Denis, of course, did not even know about it, but now the girl has turned from a gray mouse into a beautiful swan, although she also felt awkward when someone tried to show interest in her. Denis and Lisa started chatting. Each time the guy discovered his old friend from a new side. It turned out that Lisa, in addition to her appearance, has a subtle nature and a quick, agile mind. Denis himself did not notice how Lisa was occupying more and more thoughts in his head. And, of course, it couldn't end with anything other than a real proven feeling. Maria Petrovna also remembered Lisa from school, and she always liked her. Such a modest girl with a sense of self-worth and the right attitude to life. And so when Denis announced to her that they were going to get married, the old lady was only glad and blessed them for a long and happy life.